All right, we're about to read the Maftir on page 106 in the Machzor. The Maftir is the same for each day. Before I go on, I just want to acknowledge a couple of absences here as a way of just appreciating the people who are in our community and what our community is all about. I don't know if I made mistakes in that. It sounded all right to me, but every time I and others read Torah up here, we always have two Gabayim, making sure we're reading the words correctly, and I really miss them. I really miss the Gabayim who are up here, and I miss the companionship, and especially if I make a mistake and they correct me, because that correction isn't just to point out that I messed up, but rather that we're all holding this beautiful tradition with its insights and its questions together. The other aspect I'm missing are all the voices of people who come up here to chant. There are people who for years have chanted the Torah portion I just chanted and the one tomorrow. And I had a note in my Machzor that last year there was a teenager who came up to chant here, and I would have been really looking forward to her chanting this year. But soon in our day, perhaps we'll be able to do that again, and perhaps not in the too distant future, and I really long for that and look forward to that. Just a quick word about what the Maftir is. The Maftir is always a section read on holidays that refers to the sacrifices that were offered according to the Torah in the temple, that were to be offered according to the Torah in the temple on the festival days. Now, why is this meaningful? Well, it depends on who you are and what moves you. I think at minimum, it's meaningful because the sacrifices, after all, are the template for prayer. And so we see the specificity with which they're laid out, and that can perhaps be a moment of reflection to ask, well, what's inside me? What is my avodah shebalev? What is my service of the heart, and what do I bring to it, and what do I have to pay attention to? There are other reasons, though. I think there's a certain kind of poetry about it, which I hope I'll be able to convey through chanting it. And finally, I think there's an overarching metaphor of a kind of sacrifice of the heart that I just talked about that is very important to our time together. You know, Rosh Hashanah, as opposed to Passover, is really a holiday in which the main feature is prayer and communal prayer and being together. And perhaps what the Maftir does on this particular holiday is remind us of our internal lives and the symbols that we look to remind us of our internal lives and how we go deeper. And so here is the Maftir on page 106 in the Machzor. בחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש, מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, יום תרועה יהיה לכם, ועשיתם עולה לריח ניחוח לאדוני, פר בן בקר, אחד יהיה לאחד, כבשים בני שנה, 7 תמימים. ומנחתם סולת בלולת השמן, 3 עשרונים לפר, 2 עשרונים לעיל, בשרון אחד, לכבש האחד, ל7 הכבשים, וזריזים אחד חטאת, לכפר עליכם, מלבד עולת החודש, ומנחתה, עולת התמיד, ומנחתה, נזקיהם, כמשפטם ריח ניחוח אישה לאדוני.